Today we have an exciting video in store for you as we count down the top 15 Game Gear games of all time. For those who may not know, the Game Gear was a handheld game console released by Sega in 1991 in North America. It was a fierce competitor to the Nintendo Game Boy and holds a special place in the hearts of many gamers even today. The rankings are based on a combination of factors including overall quality, replayability, and impact on the gaming industry. So without any further delay, let's jump right into the action-packed world of Game Gear gaming. Number 15. Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. This game was not only an exceptional platformer, but it also had unique features that allowed players to transform into different creatures, each with their own abilities. This added a layer of strategies to the gameplay and made it even more enjoyable. Whether you wanted to fly, swim, or climb walls, there was a creature that could help you navigate the game's levels. It's a must-play for any Game Gear owner who loves platformers and wants to experience a game that was ahead of its time. Number 14. Sonic Chaos. Sonic Chaos was a platformer that released in 1993. It served as a fantastic introduction to the series for handheld gamers. One of the standout features of Sonic Chaos was its impressive graphics. The bright and colorful visuals really popped on the Game Gear screen, showcasing the capabilities of the handheld console. The vibrant and detailed environments added to the immersive experience of the game. In addition to its visuals, Sonic Chaos also had a memorable soundtrack. The catchy tunes would stick in your head for days, enhancing the overall enjoyment of the game. The combination of fast-paced gameplay, impressive graphics, and memorable music made Sonic Chaos a great addition to the Sonic series. For any Game Gear collector or Sonic fan, Sonic Chaos is a must-play. It not only showcases the capabilities of the handheld console, but also provides an exciting and enjoyable gaming experience. So if you haven't had the chance to play Sonic Chaos yet, be sure to give it a try and experience the thrill of racing through levels as Sonic and Tails. Number 13. The Shooting Star. The Shooting Star was a platformer released in 1995, developed by Sonic Team. It featured similar gameplay to Sonic games, however, instead of running through levels, Reinc, the main character, used his stretchy arms to grab onto objects and swing around. The game's graphics were some of the best on the Game Gear, with colorful environments and detailed character sprites. The music was also fantastic, with catchy tunes that perfectly fit the game's whimsical tone. Overall, the Shooting Star, also known as Reinc, was a unique and enjoyable platformer that remains a hidden gem on the Game Gear. Number 12. Sonic the Hedgehog. The OG Sonic the Hedgehog was a platformer that was released in 1991. It was the first Sonic game to be released on the Game Gear and featured similar play to the console versions. The game's levels were fast-paced and challenging, with Sonic racing through levels to stop Dr. Robotnik's latest scheme. The game's graphics were impressive for the time, with detailed character sprites and colorful environments. The music was also memorable, with catchy tunes that fit the game's fast-paced gameplay. Sonic the Hedgehog was a fantastic platformer and one of the best on the Game Gear. Number 11. The Sword of Haja. Now firstly, I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong and I do apologize, but Haja looks about right to me. But the Sword of Haja was an exceptional RPG that every Game Gear owner must experience. With its engaging storyline, challenging gameplay, and memorable characters, it's a standout title in the Game Gear library. The game's graphics and music were also impressive, making it a must-play for any RPG fan. The game's combat system was unique and required strategy, adding an overall depth to the game. It also has multiple endings, giving players a reason to replay the game. And if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend giving it a try and experiencing one of the best RPGs on the Game Gear. Though to be honest, that's a pretty low bar because there aren't that many. Number 10. Dragon Crystal. Released in 1990, Dragon Crystal is a dungeon crawler game that holds the distinction of being one of the earliest games released on the Game Gear. The game features randomly generated dungeons and turn-based combat, providing players with a unique and challenging experience. Despite its simple graphics, Dragon Crystal effectively utilizes detailed character sprites and colorful environments to create an immersive gameplay environment. The game's soundtrack is also worth mentioning, as its atmospheric music perfectly complements the dungeon crawling theme. With its addictive gameplay and portable nature, Dragon Crystal is a must-play for any Game Gear enthusiast. Number 9. Legend of Golden Axe. Legend of Golden Axe was a fantastic game that was a great fit for the Game Gear's portable nature. It was a side-scrolling beat-em-up game that allowed players to choose from 3 different characters, each with their own unique abilities. The game's graphics were impressive, with detailed character sprites and colorful environments. The music was also excellent, with catchy tunes that fit the game's medieval fantasy theme. Overall, The Legend of Golden Axe was a standout game on the Game Gear, and a must-play for any fan of the beat-em-up genre. Number 8. Sonic Drift 2. Sonic Drift 2, released in 1995, was the second Sonic racing game for the Game Gear. It offered similar gameplay to its predecessor, with fast-paced and challenging levels where Sonic and his friends raced to be the first to cross the finish line. The game boasted impressive graphics for its time, featuring detailed character sprites and colorful environments. The music was also memorable, with catchy tunes that perfectly complemented the game's fast-paced gameplay. Sonic Drift 2 was undoubtedly one of the best racing games available for the Game Gear. Now we're midway through the video, and I know that there are probably other games that you'd put on this list, so be sure to sound off in the comments on anything you thought deserved to be here that we missed out on. And if you're enjoying the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Now back to the list. Number 7. Defenders of Oasis. Defenders of Oasis was an RPG released in 1992. It was one of the few RPGs available on the Game Gear and offered players a unique gaming experience. The game featured turn-based combat and exploration, allowing players to immerse themselves in a rich and vibrant world. One of the standout features of Defenders of Oasis was its impressive graphics. The detailed character sprites and colorful environments brought the game to life, creating a visually stunning experience. The attention to detail in the game's visuals added to the overall immersion and made exploring the game's Arabian Nights themed world even more enjoyable. In addition to its captivating visuals, Defenders of Oasis also boasted an excellent soundtrack. The atmospheric music perfectly complemented the game's setting, further enhancing the player's immersion in the game's world. Combination of stunning visuals and a captivating soundtrack made Defenders of Oasis a truly memorable RPG on the Game Gear. Despite being a hidden gem, Defenders of Oasis received critical acclaim from those who had the opportunity to play it. The game's engaging gameplay, immersive world, and well-crafted story made it a standout title on the Game Gear. RPG enthusiasts and fans of Game Gear alike consider Defenders of Oasis to be one of the best RPGs available on a handheld console. If you're a fan of RPGs or looking for a unique gaming experience on the Game Gear, Defenders of Oasis is a game that should not be missed. Its impressive graphics, captivating soundtrack, and engaging gameplay make it a must-play for any RPG enthusiast. Don't let this hidden gem pass you by. Give Defenders of Oasis a try and discover the magic of this fantastic RPG on the Game Gear. Number 6. Silent Fury. Silent Fury was a ninja action game released in 1992. It was a sequel to the original Shinobi game and featured the same fast-paced gameplay and challenging difficulty. The game's levels were varied and it featured a mix of platforming and combat, with bosses at the end of each stage. One of the game's standout features was its graphics. The Game Gear's screen allowed for more detailed sprites and backgrounds, and Shinobi 2 took full advantage of this. The game's visuals were impressive, with vibrant colors and smooth animations that brought the ninja action to life. The soundtrack was also excellent. The atmospheric music added to the game's ninja theme and created an immersive experience for players. Each level had its own unique music that enhanced the gameplay and added to the overall enjoyment of the game. Overall, the game is a fantastic action game and one of the best on the Game Gear. Its fast-paced gameplay, challenging levels, immersive graphics, and excellent soundtrack make it a must-play for any fan of the ninja genre or the Game Gear console. If you haven't had a chance to play it yet, we highly recommend giving it a try and experiencing the excitement of being a ninja on the go. Number 5. Tails Adventure. Tails Adventure was a platformer released in 1995. It was a spin-off of the Sonic series and starred Sonic's sidekick Tails. The game featured slower-paced gameplay than the Sonic games, with Tails exploring levels and defeating enemies using gadgets and weapons. The game's graphics were impressive, with detailed backgrounds and character sprites. The music, it was also pretty memorable, with catchy tunes that fit the game's adventurous tone. Tails Adventure was a fun and unique platformer that was a welcome addition to the Game Gear library. Number 4. Phantasy Star Gaiden. Released in 1992, Phantasy Star Gaiden is a RPG spin-off of the popular Phantasy Star series. This hidden gem on the Game Gear offers a fantastic gaming experience. The game features challenging levels that combine turn-based combat and exploration, providing players with a thrilling adventure. One of the standout aspects of the game is its impressive graphics. The detailed character sprites and colorful environments bring the game world to life, immersing players in its epic atmosphere. Additionally, the game's music is excellent, with catchy tunes that perfectly complement the game's tone. Phantasy Star Gaiden is a must-play for RPG enthusiasts and fans of the Phantasy Star series. Its engaging gameplay, stunning visuals, and captivating soundtrack make it a standout title on the Game Gear. Don't miss out on this hidden gem that showcases the best of RPG gaming on the handheld console. Number 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was not only a great game on the Game Gear, but had a significant impact on the Sonic series as a whole. The addition of Tails as a playable character added a new layer of strategy to the gameplay, and the game's levels were some of the best in the series. The game's graphics and music were also top-notch, making it a standout title on the Game Gear. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a game that every gamer should experience, whether they're a fan of the Sonic series or not. Number 2. Game Gear Shinobi. The Game Gear version of Shinobi, released in 1991, was a spin-off of the Shinobi series and featured similar gameplay to the console games. The challenging levels combined platforming and combat, with bosses at the end of each stage. The game boasted impressive graphics with detailed character sprites and colorful backgrounds. The music was excellent with catchy tunes that enhanced the game's ninja theme. The Game Gear version of Shinobi was a fantastic action game and a must-play for any Game Gear owner. Now, before we get to number 1, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. And I hope that you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane and discovered some new games to add to your collection. If you have any personal favorites that didn't make the list, like the great game Lemmings, please let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you all and value your feedback. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. There are always plenty of exciting videos in the works, so stay tuned for more. And as always, a special thank you to the people at the World of Longplays, whose gameplay footage was used in the making of this video. And now, number 1. Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble was a platformer released in 1994. It was a third Sonic game to be released on the Game Gear and featured similar gameplay to the console versions. The levels were fast-paced and challenging, with Sonic and Tails racing through levels to stop Dr. Robotnik's latest scheme. The game's graphics were impressive for the time, with detailed character sprites and colorful environments. The vibrant visuals, they brought the game to life on the Game Gear screen. the music was also memorable, with catchy tunes that perfectly complemented the game's fast-paced gameplay. Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble was a fantastic addition to the series and a standout game on the Game Gear. Its engaging gameplay, impressive graphics, and memorable soundtrack made it a must-play for any fan of the Blue Blur. Whether you're a longtime Sonic fan or new to the series, this game provided hours of fun and excitement. And that concludes our list of the top 15 Game Gear games of all time. Man, there sure was a lot of Sonic in there. Until next time, this has been Azure Tony. Today, we found some fun in gaming, and hope you enjoyed yourselves too. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch you next time.